Welcome back. In today's video, guys, we're going to carry on what we did in the last video about when we talked about Python penetration testing. So basically, guys, sometime you are in a situation where you don't have access to Nmap, you don't have Nmap, Nmap is not installed in the system, the client doesn't allow you to install Nmap, or you have gained access to some system or the client system and you want to scan for the available hosts in their network starting from the system that you have just compromised. And assuming that there is no Nmap and you cannot transfer it over there, you don't want to mess up the client's device. So in this case, scripting comes to help you. So basically, in this case, you want a script that scans for all the live hosts on your client's network and identify the open ports and the services running on them. This helps tremendously in defining your next target in the network, in case you want to do some network pivoting, right? So here I have assembled a script, all right, to do or to perform this purpose. So let's examine the script and explain it. So here, let me open it. Oh, okay, open it from here. All right. So let's go up. First, we import the system, right? The socket. Now, the system for handling all of the inputs coming from the user or the analyst. All right. Now we have the socket for the connectivity, JSON for converting between dictionary, strings, and other types, Nmap to the scanning, and we have imported Scapy to perform some ARP requests on the network. In order to identify the live host, you can do that with ping or you can use ARP protocol, right? And here I used XML to format the output. So we start from here and let's go down, forget about this part, let's go down and start from this line. So this line I defined a variable called network IP, all right, that holds the value coming from the user, which is the IP address. So you're supposed to input the IP address. So let's here, there is something missing. Let's put print usage network. What was the name of the script? Okay, network Python network scanner UI, and here you put network IP address. So here we print the usage to the user in case they don't want or they don't know how the script works. But in your case, you built this script in order to do the scanning, right, on your client machine, and there is no Nmap, there is no scanning tools. Okay, second, I create a variable to hold the value of the ARP request. So basically, I send ARP request, and then I store or I use destination address as the broadcast IP address. I want the ARP packet to be propagated to all hosts in the network using the, as you can see, the broadcast IP. And then I assemble the packets in a variable called full packets. And after that, with some formatting, I use or store the resultant value of the packet in a variable called result packet. Then I define a dictionary that holds or that's supposed to hold the IP addresses or the live IP addresses, right? Now then, after I store all of the live IP addresses, here I print to the user that we are scanning for the live hosts, and then we do a for loop to examine the results. So basically, whenever I examine an IP address, I determine whether it is live or not live by the bytes received from the broadcast request. So based on that, I append the live IP to the addresses dictionary I defined here. Right now it's empty, but after I examine the results or the received packets from the clients or the live hosts or the host, based on that, I append the live ones to the dictionary. And then after I store all of the live IPs in the dictionary variable, I print out that the live hosts are, and here we do some for loop, guys, to loop over all the live hosts found in the network and stored in the addresses. So here I define address to go over the dictionary addresses. I print address and I use IP as the value for the indexing purposes. So basically here IP is going to over the first IP, the second one, third one, I print them out. Now forget about this or not. Okay. Now here I think I added this by mistake. We don't need this. Now here we scan for ports and services. So here we print out the first live host, and then we print out the ports and services that are being scanned on the for the target. And here I invoke the function that is doing the port scanning. So the function name is nmap port scan, and it takes the parameter address IP. So basically, address IP goes, this is the index, right? So it takes the first IP from the dictionary, the addresses dictionary, and then the second one, third one. So let's go up now. Let's say it passed the first IP address. So it took the IP and passed it to the function here. The function block starts from here and all the way down to print E. So basically, here we have the first IP. We assign the first IP to the variable host, and then we instantiate the scanner module from Nmap, port scanner. Okay, state scanning. Now we do some kind of exception handling to make sure everything is working correctly. We need to use try and except. So in try, this is the block that does the port scanning. Let's go over line by line. So Nmap scanner, the variable that holds the instantiation of the port scanner. And here I use scan host. Now why I use host here? Why I use host or HTTP or keys? Now these, I'm going to explain to you why. So let me go to the command line. Let me type Python, and let's open the interpreter. Let's import nmap, and let's go back to our script. So how do you understand the values or the parameters that we need to pass to the scanner module here, right? We have host, we have keys, we have port, we have product. How do we do that? So basically here, let's type something like, or let's take this, right? And here we, instead of host, we put something like 192.168.94. Okay. Nmap scanner scan, and here we put between parentheses 192.168.194.134, and here we put ports, let's say 80. And now scanner is not defined. Yeah, we need to instantiate the scanner first. Paste. Okay. Now let's use nmap scanner.scan. Something like, let's do the IP like this. 80. Invalid syntax. Maybe that. Oh, okay. Man, my keyboard sucks. Okay. Let's see how all of this looks like in the interpreter of Python. Okay, we stop here. So as you can see, guys, this is the parameters of the Nmap module with Python. So here we have scan stats. And here we have scan info. And as you can see, command line that displays the command that I just typed. And here we have scan, which we used here, as you can see, to instantiate the scan. And we have product, for the kind of service running on the port, specifying the port TCP, the version, the product, the name, whatsoever. So from here, we take all of that and we append it or attach it to the scanner module. Let's go back to the script. So right now, we instantiate the scanner and store that in Nmap scanner. Now here, Nmap scanner.scan, we use this, right? Where is it? This one, to instantiate the scan. We put the host is a variable that holds the IP address, right? And then we put the arguments we want to attach to the scan. So here you can put whatever you want to do with the scanner. What's the mode, right? How, I mean, everything, UDP, TCP scan, services, TCP scan, pink scan, whatsoever. So for me here, I defined to scan for all the ports. You can, of course, change that to whatever suits your environment. Then we define the ports. And the ports here, how do we store the ports in this variable? We take the variable nmap scanner that holds this scanner, and we have the host IP, the ports, or the protocol TCP, and keys. Why keys? Because that's the syntax. So the syntax for ports, where is it? Where is it? Keys. I can't find keys, but I remember that's the syntax for this. All right, let's go back. And here we, like we did with the IP addresses when we identify the live hosts, right? We create a variable like dictionary, right? Whose type is dictionary, and this variable is responsible for storing all of the scanning details, the ports, the services. Now we do for loop to loop over all of the ports. We need to take the state of the port, is it open, the service running on the port, the product, the version, and if the port is open here, right, we append this port to the list, which we have defined here, right? Now, so this result list contains all of the information about the port, its state, the service, and the version of the service running on it. All of that happens starting from line 14 all the way to line 25. Now, if the port is closed, we just print the variable or the content of the variable result list, which contains the scanning details, right? Now, before that, we need to do some conversion. So this is dictionary, and we want to print out the result as a strings. String, we need to do GS-on conversion. That's why we imported the GS-on here. So we did the conversion, and we print out. No, we don't print out. We return the result like this. So once we invoke the function, it returns the full list of the details that is stored in the result list, right? Okay, let's try to run that and see what we get. Assuming that we have Metasploit running, and let's make sure that the configuration are correct. If config, the IP is, as you can see, 134. Let's go back. Okay, now sudo python 3 network scanner network python. All right, and here we define the first variable, which is 192.168.194.0, the network IP. The password usage. Now, as you can see, Python network scanner, live hosts, scanning for ports and services. Let's see what we'll get. So this port, this is the first IP. String in that must be integers. What's that? What is that? What is that? Okay, let's wait. I think I have some error here. So string indices must be integers again. What is that? Let's go back. result packets, append addresses. For address and addresses, print address, okay. Scanning for ports. Nmap port scan address IP. Okay. So what's wrong now? Did we forget something from the libraries? Nope. I think we have some error here. So for address in addresses, print address IP. Print scanning for ports and services. Nmap port scan. Address. Okay. And here we take the value of the IP. Do you have any idea what's going on? Let me go here. See what does that mean actually. I didn't encounter this. Let's go back. So over here we have the result. I have the report list, which are the correct format, and we have the dictionary here. Address is append, IP. Address in addresses, print. All right. So it's finished the scan, but there is some issue with this, with the values, with the integers. I think that must be integers. Scan for ports, services, TCP. Port scanner scanning, Nmap scan, host, arguments, keys, result list. Band, print out result list. I think this is the problem, right? Let's try to cancel that version. All right, so here we got some results. Let's wait for the scan to finish, and we're going to discuss what we got. Actually, you might want to put that, and output these results out to file, text file, which is way more flexible. But since we are using this script, assuming that we have compromised some machine and we don't have the sufficient permissions to wander around, create files, modify files, it's better to print them out to the screen. So basically, the first one, 94.1, has got port 135 open. The service is MSRPC, the product Microsoft Windows RPC. And we got the second port, the state, the service, but apparently we cannot find the version number. So how do you find the version here? I think we need to put version in the product. Am I right? So here we have TCP/AT product. Version. How do you find the version, guys? So address is IPv4, TCP product. It was here, right? So if we product, Apache state, this one. So I need to get this host TCP port product. So unfortunately, I couldn't get the version of the services running. Product scan status up. All right. Actually, finding the version is very important to look for vulnerabilities. But since we cannot find the version for some reason, scanner TCP port. So here in ports, we get the state of the port, service method connection. Okay, if we put name, okay, version equal nmap scanner host TCP port. Here we put version. Let's try that if it works. Let's jump to the terminal, clear, and scan. Invalid syntax. Why? Host TCP port. I'm not sure why. Nmap scanner host TCP port version. Are you kidding? What's wrong here? Product. The product here. Host TCP port. I'm confused now. Enable this. Invalid syntax. Are you kidding now? This one. Fuck. So name. This one. This guy has caused the problems. Okay. Paste. Let's hope we get the version number. So the first host is up. The version, where are you? No version, guys. Or we forgot something, I think. Here, yep. Result. You need to append it to the dictionary or the variable. Version equal version. Let me try clear. I hope we get the version, guys. I hope we get it. Yep, so now we have the version. So right now you have complete network scanner. You can use it to find the live hosts, the open ports, the service running on the ports, and the version of each service in order to move on to the exploitation phase. Well, okay, so here we got some empty versions sometimes. So this one FTP version 234, OpenSSH version this, yeah, we got results. Okay, I'm gonna pause the scan and let's now go back to the script, see how we can also as well. As you can see here, we can change the ports to scan for one port only, right? And here you can change the type of a scan. Maybe you want to use stealth scan if you are in an environment where there is a firewall installed. Simply you put SS to perform TCP stealth scan. Yeah, that's it. So basically, guys, I hope today's video was somewhat helpful and informational. And we're going to do some videos as well for Python penetration testing, exploits, vulnerabilities, whatsoever, everything with Python. So hit the subscribe button if you like it, and see you in the next video.